Pack your bags, we're headed on a big old ride, with dreams of sunlit shores and the open skies, from the hills of Cyprus to where the world collides.
All right, let's jump right in. Today we're heading to Victoria Falls with Rob and Mandy.
Nice.
Yeah, they chronicled their trip in their travel blog. And
Sounds fun.
yeah, it's going to be a really exciting deep dive.
Okay.
We're talking about the falls themselves.
Right.
We're talking about the Zambezi River cruises.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about Zambezi National Park.
Oh, cool.
So all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So to get started, one of the things that really struck me was their description of arriving at the Victoria Falls International Airport.
Oh, okay.
Which is relatively new.
Okay.
And they talk about how they had this long wait at immigration,
Oh, really?
but it really just kind of built up the excitement and anticipation.
Yeah.
They said that when they finally got through, it was like this feeling of, okay, now the adventure really begins.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a ritual almost.
Right. Exactly. Like you're being prepared for this incredible experience.
Exactly. And you know what's really interesting about Victoria Falls? It's one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
Oh, wow.
So it draws visitors from all over the globe.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so that probably explains why the airport was so busy.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, a lot of people are eager to see this incredible natural wonder.
Absolutely. And then they went on this sunset cruise on the Zambezi River.
Oh, I bet that was amazing.
It sounds so peaceful and magical in their blog.
Yeah, just drifting along the river, the sun setting, the sky, all those colors.
Yeah, and all the wildlife around them.
Oh, yeah, what did they see?
Well, they actually had a pretty cool encounter with a group of hippos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they said it was pretty awe-inspiring to see those huge jaws up close.
You know, hippos are so well adapted to the Zambezi.
Really?
Yeah, their eyes and nostrils are positioned high on their heads,
Oh, I see.
so they can stay submerged in the water but still see and breathe.
That's fascinating how they've evolved like that.
It really is, yeah. It's amazing how wildlife adapts to its environment.
And then, of course, the main event, Victoria Falls.
Oh, yeah.
The moment they first laid eyes on it, they were
Yeah.
just completely blown away.
I bet. It's gotta be pretty incredible.
They described it as this massive curtain of water that just seems to go on forever.
Wow, that's gotta be a sight to behold.
And the sound, they said it was like a deep, resonant thunder that you could feel in your chest.
Oh, wow, that sends chills down my spine just thinking about it.
I know, right? It's that kind of experience that really makes you feel the power of nature.
Exactly. It's that sense of the sublime, you know?
The sublime.
Yeah, it's this feeling of awe and terror
Oh, okay.
when you're confronted with something so vast and powerful.
I can see that, yeah.
Like you're just completely overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of it.
And they weren't just observing from a distance. They actually walked along a path that runs alongside the falls.
Oh, cool.
It goes on for almost a mile.
Wow, that's a long walk.
Yeah, and it gives you all these different vantage points to see the falls from.
I bet the views are incredible.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They said it was like the falls were constantly changing.
Oh,
As you
wow.
walked along, you get these new perspectives, and it would look totally different.
That's amazing.
And then get this, they walked across the railway bridge.
A railway bridge?
Yeah, it connects Zimbabwe to Zambia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they said it was such a lively atmosphere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they met all sorts of people on the bridge,
Yeah.
tourists, locals, border officials.
That's so cool. It's like a little microcosm of life in that region.
Right, I love that. And you know, that bridge is actually quite historical.
Is it?
Yeah, it was built in 1905.
Wow.
And it offers these amazing views of the Batoka Gorge below.
Oh, I bet that's spectacular.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a highlight of their trip.
Yeah.
And from there,
Mm.
they had a clear view of the Victoria Falls Hotel.
Oh, the hotel. Okay.
Yeah, it's perched right on the edge of the gorge.
Sounds like a prime location.
Oh, it is. And it's steeped in history, too. It was
Yeah.
built back in 1904
Wow.
during the golden age of train travel.
So when explorers were just starting to venture into Africa.
Exactly. And for Mandy, this was actually a really special moment
Oh, why is that?
because it was her first time back at the hotel after 40 years.
Wow, 40 years. That's a long time.
It is. And she talks about how she felt this wave of nostalgia washing over her
Oh, I bet.
as she took in the grandeur of the place, you know?
Yeah, all those memories coming back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what's amazing is that the hotel still has that same colonial charm that it did all those years ago.
It's like stepping back in time.
It really is. And even though they weren't staying at the hotel,
Okay.
they decided to stop in for a drink.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just to soak in the atmosphere.
I love that. It's those little moments that really make a trip special.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They weren't just rushing from one attraction to the next.
Right.
They took the time to really experience the history and the culture of the place.
It's about savoring the journey, not just the destination.
Exactly. It's like they were weaving together all these different threads, the natural wonders, the history, the people they met.
And creating a really rich and meaningful experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes their story so compelling. It's not just about seeing the sights. It's about connecting with a place on a deeper level.
And that's something we can all relate to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on now to something a little more wild.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Because next up on their itinerary was a game drive in Zambezi National Park.
Oh, cool. A safari.
Yeah. And they were really excited about this because they had been to Kruger before.
Okay.
So they had a bit of a benchmark, but they were really impressed by Zambezi.
I see. What did they see there?
Well, they saw all sorts of amazing animals. Giraffes, zebras, wildebeest.
Wow, the classic safari animals.
Exactly. And they were blown away by the sheer diversity of the wildlife.
So Zambezi has a really unique ecosystem then.
Yeah, it does. It's got a combination of habitats, like riverine forests and grasslands. And that attracts a wider range of species.
That makes sense.
And it wasn't just the big animals that caught their attention. They also saw warthogs, baboons,
Oh, cool.
impala, even a little mongoose.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was darting through the undergrowth.
You know what's interesting about those sightings? It shows how interconnected everything is in the park.
In what way?
Well, each animal plays a role.
Oh, okay.
Like the grazers shape the landscape, and then the predators keep the populations in check.
So it's all about balance.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a delicate ecosystem.
That's fascinating. And what really struck me about their game drive experience was how peaceful it sounded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't just about ticking off animals on a list.
Right.
They really took the time to observe the animals in their natural habitat.
It's about being present in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And appreciating the beauty of nature.
Absolutely. And that's one of the best things about a game drive.
What's that?
It forces you to slow down and really tune into your surroundings.
It's a different pace of life.
It is, yeah. It's a chance to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
And reconnect with nature.
Exactly. And speaking of amazing experiences, their day didn't end there.
Oh.
They decided to have dinner at the Victoria Falls Safari Lodge.
Oh, wow. I bet that was incredible.
It sounds amazing. They had a restaurant overlooking a water hole.
Oh, wow.
And it was all floodlit so you could see the animals at night.
That's so cool.
And the African sky was just ablaze with stars.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's the kind of experience that you never forget,
Absolutely. And I bet the food was incredible, too.
I'm sure it was. But you know what really made this dinner special?
What's that?
All the animals that came to the water hole while they were eating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they saw a family of elephants.
Wow.
And some impala gracefully leaping around.
Oh, that's so cool.
And a group of warthogs just snorting around in the mud.
Warthogs are so funny.
They are, yeah. And it's amazing to see them in their natural environment.
It really is. And water holes are like these hubs of activity, aren't they?
They are, especially at dusk.
Yeah, that's when everyone comes to quench their thirst.
Exactly. And sometimes they'll even socialize or play around a bit.
It's like a little community gathering.
It is, yeah. And you know what Rob did?
Wow.
He ordered roast warthog for dinner.
He did not?
He did.
That's hilarious.
I know, right? He's a pretty adventurous eater.
He is, yeah. I wouldn't have the guts to try that.
It's definitely a bold choice.
It is. But it's interesting because it raises some questions about our relationship with animals.
In what way?
Well, on the one hand, we admire them in their natural habitat, but on the other hand, we sometimes consume them as food.
It's a complex relationship, that's for sure.
It is. And it makes you think about sustainability and our role in the ecosystem.
It's a lot to ponder.
It is.
Yeah.
But, we can come back to that another time because there's one more detail from their dinner at the Safari Lodge that I want to touch on.
Okay, what's that?
Remember how we talked about the sensory overload of Victoria Falls?
Yeah, the thunderous roar, the mist.
Right. Well, they had another sensory experience that night, but this time it was all about the sky.
Oh, the African sky. I bet it was incredible.
Oh, it was. They described it as a canvas of 1,000 colors.
Wow.
And it was constantly changing with light.
That's beautiful.
It is. And it's so different from the experience of the falls.
How so?
Well, the falls are all about power and immensity,
Mhm.
but the sky is more about expansiveness and perspective.
It's like looking up at infinity.
Exactly. And it makes you feel small in a different way.
Not overwhelmed, but humbled.
Right. It's a sense of awe and wonder.
And a reminder that we're just a small part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. And it's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
So let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk more about Rob and Mandy's adventures in Zimbabwe.
Sounds good. Yeah, so it sounds like they had a really incredible time at the lodge.
They did, yeah. And you know what's interesting? They talked about how their whole experience in Zimbabwe really shifted their perspective.
Oh, in what way?
They said they felt more connected to nature
I can see that. Yeah.
and even a little bit humbled by its power.
Yeah, I think that's a common feeling when you experience something like Victoria Falls.
Right. It makes you realize how small we are in comparison to the natural world.
Exactly. And I think that sense of humility is a good thing, you know?
Definitely. It reminds us that we're not separate from nature. We're a part of it.
Right. And we need to respect that connection.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Rob and Mandy's adventure, I want to leave our listeners with a thought.
Okay.
What natural wonders have left you feeling small and in awe? What experiences have made you feel connected to the natural world?
It's a good question to reflect on.
It is, because I think those kinds of experiences are really important.
They are. They remind us of what's truly important in life.
Exactly. And they inspire to protect the natural world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Until next time. You know, it's funny. They had all these big adventures, but some of my favorite parts of their blog were the quiet moments.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, like when they were just sitting on their balcony at the lodge,
Okay.
listening to the sounds of the bush.
Nice.
Yeah, or when they were watching the sunset over the Zambezi River.
It's those little moments that really make a trip special.
It is. It's like they were really taking the time to soak it all in.
Exactly. It's not just about rushing from one site to the next.
Right,
It's
yeah.
about slowing down and appreciating the beauty around you.
And I think that's what makes their story so relatable,
Yeah, I agree.
because it's something we can all do.
Absolutely. Whether you're traveling to a far-off destination or just exploring your own backyard.
There's always something to discover if you take the time to look.
And that's what we're all about here on the Deep Dive, right?
Absolutely. We're all
Okay.
about exploring new ideas, new perspectives.
And diving deep into the things that matter.
So thanks for joining us on this incredible journey to Victoria Falls with Rob and Mandy.
It was a real treat.
It was. And until next time, keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.
You like flying where we never hide.
Out on the highway, chasing the